Dearly beloved sisters and brothers, peace be with you and a blessed Christmas to you. Last Friday, we had the Christmas party and year-end party of our volunteers here in the community. And it was a party that was different from the normal parties that I attended in other communities because it was not very noisy. There was no very loud music. It was just simple and intimate. And before the program, we did a 1-hour reflection. We asked the question, what am I personally grateful for this year? And the second question was, what are the things that I want to do better next year? So we had a group reflection and then we shared our thoughts on these questions. On this last day of 2023, let me invite you to reflect on those same questions. What am I grateful for this year? What are the things that I wish to do better next year or this coming year? And let me add to those two questions. Will my New Year's resolution help me to grow closer to God? I think that is also a very important question. Or we can also reflect, where have I felt true joy and happiness this year? What troubled me this year? What were the difficult moments and challenges that I experienced this year? Have I grown closer to God this year? If we go back to our readings, what can we learn? What lessons can our readings impart us to welcome the new year? From our first reading, first is the importance of prayer. Our first reading from the book of Sirach says, whoever honors his fathers preserves himself. When he prays, he is heard. He stores up riches who reveres his mother. Whoever honors his father and is gladdened by children, and when he prays, he is heard. In other words, when we live close to God, very close to our family and one another, God is happy and he listens to our prayers. So it is good to include in our wishes, in our New Year's resolution, to have more time for prayer, especially the Sunday Mass. That's the first prayer. Second, from our second reading, from the letter of Paul to the Colosians, St. Paul says, put on heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. Forgive one another as the Lord has forgiven you. And overall, put on love, the bond of perfection. So second is love. Prayer and then love. It is good to include in our wishes and New Year's resolution for next year, for this coming year, to be more loving in our words, in our actions, in our attitudes. Third and finally, to align my plans, my ambitions to God's plans and designs. In the Gospel, we learn how Mary and Joseph did everything to follow God's voice. They were obedient, they were simply obedient to God, even if it required sacrifice, inconvenience. It was not easy for Mary and Joseph to follow God's voice, but they did everything to follow God's voice in their heart. It was not easy, but it was the best decision they made. It is good to include in our wishes and New Year's resolution to be more open to God's invitation. What does God want me to do? And we can only answer this question properly if we have the first two, prayer and love. Let us reflect for a moment.
Let us all rise to profess our faith.
I believe in God,